A while back, I had read an article about a Japanese office that had pictures of kittens on the home screens of computers to increase focus and productivity. Focus and productivity. Those two words are like the sounds of angels singing to a teacher. So of course, my next course of action was to start my math lessons with pictures of kittens. But showing pictures of kittens was just the beginning. I wanted to know what else could I do to increase focus and productivity. It turns out there's a lot you can do even before you start your lesson. Welcome to the Teacher Revolution, where I give you tips and tricks to continue to grow as an educator. I'm Cindy, I'm a counselor and a teacher coach. And before I share how to increase focus and productivity in your class, make sure to stick to the end of the video to learn how to get a free one-page PDF with all the information I'm about to share with you. I decided to show my 8th grade math class pictures of kittens as they walked into the class every day to see if there was a change in their focus and or productivity. I'm sure you want to know if I saw a change or not. What I did notice right away was that their demeanor was completely different. As students walked in, I could hear them go, "Aww," and their body language was way more relaxed. But the state of lower anxiety or worry wasn't sustained throughout my lesson. There were 5 other things I included in my routine at the start of my lesson that did show a sustained increase in not just focus and productivity, but an overall improvement in the student culture in my classroom. I'm going to use the acronym T.A.B.L.E to help you remember. T for teaching. When you start teaching your lesson, tell your students that you want them to learn the material with the intention to teach it to someone else. When we learn something with the intention of teaching someone else, we take extra focus on what is being shared. This will help put your students in a state of purpose. A, active learners. Passive learning doesn't work. Jim Quick, a brain coach, says, "We don't learn through consumption, we learn through creation." Make your students active learners. Make sure your lessons have an activity that encourages students to produce something. The more active, the more they'll learn. If your students take notes, make sure that the notes increase their association with the material and also it increases engagement. Make sure to subscribe because I'll be doing a video soon on the most effective notes to have your math students take. To make sure your students are active learners, have them create something with the new skill or information they've gained. They can make a poster, a video, an animation, a story, or produce a visual representation. B for build a growth mindset. With every lesson you teach, let your students know what growth mindset skill they'll be focusing on in conjunction with the standard that they'll be covering. Your lesson on adding fractions with unlike denominators can also teach effort or perseverance or reframing mistakes as a learning opportunity. Help your students forget any limiting beliefs they might have about their ability to learn with a specific skill you will focus on during your lesson. I have a video on this topic that I will link in the description because it's such an important piece to the whole puzzle. L, lower the volume. Grounding is so important because there's no way a student can consume any information when they're too busy thinking about 100 other things. Maybe they're anxious about something that happened at home, or maybe their girlfriend just broke up with them right before they walked into your door, or maybe they're just daydreaming because they're teenagers and that's what they do. In the same way, you might have to lower the volume of your radio when you're trying to parallel park or if you're looking for an address. Your students need to lower the radio in their head so that they can focus in on what you're trying to say. So before you start your lesson, help your students ground themselves with a very simple activity that takes no more than maybe 10 seconds. It goes like this. You would say, Before beginning this lesson, close your eyes or turn your gaze down to the floor and take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out your mouth. It's simple as that. Create an environment where it's safe to say, I was thinking about something else, missed what you said. Can you repeat it? So that students feel okay to say, hey, I'm lost, and can you help guide me back? It takes a lot of practice to be present for an X amount of time. Be mindful in building up your students' stamina to be able to focus. E for excitement. Our mindset has to do a lot with the ability to learn. If a student is bored or disengaged, their brain will go into a state of stress and the fight, flight, or freeze state will be triggered. Get your students in the state of intrigue or curiosity by starting your lesson with a question or a story. I have a video about how to hook students into a lesson, and I'll leave the link for that video in the description. Ready for a free one-on-one session with me to discuss how to increase your students' focus and productivity, or anything else that you need advice on? Head over to my website at cindyrosa.com for information. Remember to hit that like button if you learned something from this video. If you want a free one-page PDF with all the information I shared, click here for the link. Try incorporating some of these techniques into some of your lessons. Let me know which one you commit to trying in the comments. I hope you found this information helpful and inspired some new way of incorporating something different in your classroom. Thanks for watching.